Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Isekai Shikkaku, episode 10, in which who the fuck knows what's gonna happen. Uh, because the previous episode didn't really start any sort of a new arc, but was again a self-contained episode. A very nice self-contained episode, like make no mistake, absolutely. But still, it's not the beginning of an arc, so besides, they're gonna continue traveling the desert. I don't really have much more to to be able to say about what's gonna happen. So anybody's guess, really, isn't it? But right, what happened in the previous episode? Let's maybe start with that. In the previous episode, we made it to the desert. Everybody was miserable in there except for Nier, who, as it turns out, is a local. He was actually raised here in an orphanage, so he is able to deal with the local climate very well, and he's actually able to be their guide. And so he guided them to his orphanage. Orphanage in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. No, wait, before they got to the orphanage, they were attacked. Yeah, they were attacked by a bunch of otherworlders riding scorpions as if they were bikes, and their boss even had a nice little pompadour. So the classic biker gang, except with scorpions instead of bikes. Thankfully, well, first of all, they tried to attack Sensei. Of course, Nier tried to stand in his defense. Unfortunately, as much as Nier claims to be a valiant warrior, as much as he wants to be a valiant warrior, he is not, or was not at that moment at least. He failed in his task, he essentially froze in place, and the Scorpion managed to stab Sensei, who besides that wanted to be stabbed, right? He jumped on top of the Scorpion, asked for it. Thankfully, Sensei's poisonous blood caused some backflow into the venomous gland of the Scorpion, and the Scorpion just died of poisoning. So kind of a reverse Uno card happened. Then they made it to the orphanage. We met new kids who are still very much looking up to Nier, right? Because Nier run off to become the valiant warrior and promised to not come back until he becomes one, which kind of sort of he did become a hero because he's traveling with a hero, so I mean, same thing really. We spend some time there. We hear about a monster lurking in the area at night, and howls and other noises being heard. And we also hear another thing, that someone is apparently supplying the orphanage with nice fresh veggies and other kinds of food. So that's nice of whoever it is. As it turns out, when Nier goes out for a walk or something, he meets a guy who's walking on crutches, an old guy, who, as it turns out, who is the one who supplies the orphanage with food. He found some sort of an oasis where he's able to procure all sorts of vegetables and fruit, and he brings them daily or however often to the orphanage. He talks a fair bit with Nier. He admits that he kind of feels that he's just, watching from outside and bringing the food anonymously because he doesn't feel worthy of praise, he doesn't feel worthy of being there, and he clearly has some self-esteem issues. But everything is fine until the night where the bikers attack and kidnap one of the kids. Nier wants to fight, of course, but he can't. He's still frozen, solid in fear. That's when the guy with crutches arrives in clutch, drops the clutches, turns into a werewolf, who is the monster that was terrorizing the area, supposedly. Which Sensei discovered that, sure, some of the trees and palms in the area were scratched by some big claws, but also monsters were defeated. So the guy was also not just feeding the orphanage, he was also keeping the area clear of monsters. He turns into a werewolf, makes do no, not the right way to put it. Attacks the biker gang, chases them off, and as he is about to pounce on the leader of that gang, he is stopped by Nier, who, in the worst possible moment, grows a spine and tries to defend the biker leader from the werewolf. Manages to do that, right? Manages to break through his fear, and that's good, right? Character progression, character growth, additional characterization shows us how idealistic Nier is, that he doesn't want anybody to die, he doesn't want the good guy to stain his clothes with the blood of the unworthy, and also he believes that if the guy just kills that biker, he will be the same as he is. Yada yada yada, all the platitudes that I find incredibly annoying, gotta say. Especially in this case where, the werewolf guy tells us the story of his life, how he was always wheelchair bound, and he met a boy who was his first friend, essentially. They did things together, and the boy, right, it all started with the boy protecting him from some punks in a back alley. They spent some time together, and when the punks came for that boy and were beating him up, he ran. He claimed that, no, I'm not gonna be able to help him, so I'm just gonna run, and he did run away. He was then hit by the truck, was isekai'd, and still regrets leaving that boy, still regrets not helping him, still regrets his cowardice, and that's why he believes he's unworthy of any sort of attention and whatnot. Sensei notices aptly that was it really because of your legs that you didn't help him, or was there something else, perhaps your cowardice, perhaps something else like that, where Nier stops him and says, stop talking about that, because we are similar, this guy and I, and if you keep talking about those things, then I'm also gonna start believing them, and I don't want to do that. I want to continue being my idealistic self. So the sensei stops, apologizes, and in the end sends the guy back to his world, where he meets the boy, and turns out the boy bears him no ill will, and I'm assuming they continue being friends. And that's where my issue with Nier's decision to stop the biker gang comes, because the guy protecting the orphanage is now gone. The guy protecting the orphanage from monsters is gone. The guy protecting the orphanage from bikers is gone. The guy supplying the orphanage with food is gone. That's gonna raise a lot of issues. Nier is not staying behind. Nier continues his travel with Osamu and the gang. So sure, the kids from the orphanage might go to the oasis for food if Nier points them towards that. Sure, yeah, that's a way. That's a thing they can do, but what about monsters in the area? There's not gonna be anybody to kill them. What if the bikers decide to come back and exact revenge? There's not gonna be anybody to stop them either. So the orphanage is kind of screwed. Instead of being left with the problem of just the monsters, they are left with the problem of monsters and bikers, and having to leave the orphanage in the desert full of monsters and bikers to go for food themselves, instead of leaving it in someone else's more capable hands. Doesn't help that the orphanage is, as I said, in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Nevada, because there's just desert around and nothing else, not even buildings, absolutely nothing, not a living soul. So it's not like they can ask someone to help them or anything like that. I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to be thinking about that. I think it's supposed to be kind of like a fairy tale, right? Where you are told the tale, you are told the moral of the story, and you're not really supposed to be thinking about the implications of the prince marrying a princess who's a commoner, who doesn't have proper lineage. Will it cause any sort of issues among the nobles who will be against the princess who's just a commoner and they're gonna try to poison the prince? And right, you're not supposed to think of that. You're just supposed to think prince got the princess, commoner became princess because she was a good girl. Be a good girl, daughter of mine, and you're gonna find a prince as well, right? That's supposed to be it. So I'm assuming it's something like that. I don't think we're gonna see any sort of, like, I don't know, afterword of how the orphanage moves closer to the town, or they find another good Samaritan, or anything of the sort. Remains to be seen, though, right? I don't know what's gonna happen in today's episode. The first frame is just a black screen, so I can't even see anything there. So how about we just watch this episode and see for ourselves what's gonna happen, right? How's that sound? So let's do exactly that. And to do it, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want to monetarily on Patreon, YouTube, down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now with all of that out of the way, we can start watching Isekai Shikkaku episode 10 in 3, 2, 1, go. That's an evil castle. Oh, hello, Sachan. Been a while. And that's the rest of my tea gone. Hello, butler boy. I'm assuming the leader of the Gangoons. Oh no, something else. Wizard of Hurricanes, huh? Is that just any random castle, or is it one of the temples? Dwarves versus Lizardmen. What are you doing here, Isha? Okay, so it's like a gotcha. Who are you? Is he like the leader of the Otherworlders? Or just any random goon? Is he the Wizard of Hurricanes, or... is the video freezing? Well, okay. Well, I guess the video file was corrupted or something. Okay, we're not gonna be doing it that way. We're absolutely not doing it this way. What the fuck happened? So you probably noticed a cut in the video. It turns out the file with the anime, with the episode that I got, was corrupted. And I don't know why, I don't know how that happened. So I had to stop the recording like a couple of seconds, maybe like a minute into the episode, because it was just completely unwatchable. Now I confirmed that this one... Actually, did I confirm it? Yeah. This one seems perfectly fine. So, yeah, let's do it again, shall we? To watch this episode, you're of course gonna need your subs to follow along with me. There we go. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube, down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Isekai Shikkaku episode 10 in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, the evil castle. Hello, Satchan. What's this tune she's humming? I would have expected the melody of the opening or the ending or something, but none of that seemingly. Hello, butler boy. Kaibara was the... right, the glutton. Helzehen. Ale from Helzehen. Where is Helzehen? Yeah, a siege of a pyramid. Apparently dwarves have a very Mesopotamian architecture. What's his name? Wolf, right. I guess that's the temple. Since Wolf is here and Isha came to help. And I guess people just rallied to that temple because it gives them some, I don't know, walls for protection. Assuming this is the temple. Glad we're gonna meet elves of this world. We've seen the elves. Time for dwarves now. Yeah, that's around where the episode became corrupted. Started smearing, stretching, and showing a bit of opening, then a bit of ending, then like it was a whole mess. Okay, so I assume Doran is the wizard of hurricane. Doran Wolf is the wizard of hurricanes. Good thing they decided to stand in place. Right, like, you know, along the magic circle. Who are you, Griffith-looking motherfucker? He really looks like Griffith. And now my camera is blinking. Oh, hello, Sensei. Okay, so I guess they made it safely here at least. Also, I ran out of tea, so I'm gonna have to supply that with some OJ. Had a unusually long recording session right before that. Episode 23 of Spice and Wolf. I recorded like an hour and a half. Yeah. not quite as long of a video as the first video of a series usually is, right? But in the first video, we usually also cover the staff and characters and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, there was a reason for the episode being this long. Episode 23 of Spice and Wolf did contain a lot of stuff in it, and a lot of things to talk about. Regardless, we're not talking Spice and Wolf now, we're talking Isekai Shikkaku, so let's focus on that. And hope the video file doesn't break, because I really don't like splicing videos. Yeah, if you have someone like Wolf with you. Fair. Borfe. Okay. I guess that also works. True. He's not really getting involved, that Pope of yours. Of course, gotta have some, you know, ribbing between elves and dwarves. What happened to Sensei? Okay, Tama is here at least. And the others. I mean, they are traveling temple to temple after all. Why? Oh, of course. Okay, gotta get you a new coffin, I guess. Yeah, she's a bit of a sugar mama. Oh, he has like a white Melos. I guess we can expect like little Meloses soon. Yeah, clearly your tornado wasn't powerful enough. Yeah. Yeah, so far nobody really like waged a war exactly. Right? They just arrived solo, do whatever, and get defeated. Nobody really had an army so far. Also, it was kind of Valdelia that defeated him, technically speaking. Really? How do we intend to defeat the Griffith guy? Spoiler alert, they won't. They are gonna need Sensei's help. So not just a priest, but a powerful wizard as well. This particular shot really looks like out of one of the like old animated movies, right? What is your power, I wonder? Oh? Satchan? Right, the red string of fate, eh? Making paper cranes? Greed. Sure, okay. Who's Satchan fallen angel of, I wonder? Of course, because it hurts the most, doesn't it? Exactly. Oh, is it glowing? No. No, it just reminded him of Satchan, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there is some truth to that. Probably ask Wolf. Femelos. I guess Wolf has a lot of fans. Yep. Entire fan club. And thus Femelos escapes again. I mean, not like we've seen many of Melos's kind. Sure. Whatever you say, Sensei. Where are we going that it took us an entire half a day at least? Entire evening? Why the secrecy? Is he? Who is that inside? Sensei's face in the background. Yeah, it's nice. It's not nice to eavesdrop. This time it's gonna be different. Yeah, you're not fighting misery this time around. You're fighting greed. And, I mean, depending if Satchan's gonna be here or not, someone else. Last? I don't know. They're not exactly named after seven sins, are they? Misery is not a sin after all. That's a dragon. A magical dragon. Is that the, like, dragon emperor demon lord's body resurrected? Something like that. Valdelia has some draconic characteristics. So... Oh no, it's just Jade. Probably not the ace, actually. Yeah, and the dragon is not alone. I mean, yeah, sure. Technically, it doesn't matter. Can she steal magic? Is that why she's the Angel of Greed? She can just nullify the blast because she steals it. Yeah, those eyes look like void, don't they? Again? Master? Oh, he was responsible for her, I assume. Oh? Sucks out the, like, life force or something? What's going on exactly? We're kind of fucked now, aren't we? Okay, at least the enemy let up. Okay, so has the temple fallen? I was under the impression that this is the temple. Or a dwarven, whatchamacallit, castle, whatever, repurposed to be a temple. It's your chance now. That's the lowest possible way. Yeah, we gotta fight. We gotta retrieve her master. Yeah, okay, we're not gonna use the current, whatchamacallit, vulnerability of Femelos. That would be a little bit too low. That was not the voice of an Ojo-san. Yeah, as I said. Elves are long-lived, so, you know, entirely possible that they maybe used to be a couple. Youth? What do you mean? Were you, like, raised here or something? Right, so probably a powerful mage as well. Probably because of her, wasn't it? Did she steal that old woman's youth? Greed. Yeah. I think that might be it. time to use an elite team. You didn't even notice. Yeah, I don't think you have a reason to be jealous of her. That's less important from what's going on here. That's a nice gear upgrade. Are we keeping this gear? Why are you still carrying her around? Coffin? What did he request? Whomst? Oh, well, the biker gang. Sure. Are they turning a new leaf or something? Oh, okay. Well, that's a way to solve the problem of the orphanage, isn't it? Cool. Cool, cool. I like it. Oh, is your power to like control any beast? Or that? Turning monsters into vehicles. Sure. That is a power to have, isn't it? Oh, that's the episode. Of course. Yeah. What's up with you in the first place? And what did you see in her eyes? I love this musical track, by the way. I mean, yeah, true. A tragic romance, right? Is there anything more compelling than that? Alright, well, that's the episode. Felt really, really short. Just thought I'm gonna mention that. So let's watch it again, shall we? Absolutely, we shall. So, it's an organized effort, it seems, to conquer this world. I thought initially that maybe each of the angels or fallen angels or whatever they're called, no, sorry, is just doing whatever they please, right? Because they just can. But apparently it's a bigger plan that involves conquering all the nations, but they've all kind of just been failing at that by just going in alone and being very easily beaten. This guy at least had the good idea to bring an army with him. Lil Miss Isha. I always preferred leaving honorifics alone, you know, in subtitles. I really would rather see Isha-chan rather than Little Miss Isha, because Little Miss is not really a good translation of Chan. There really isn't like a good literal translation of Chan, is there? Same goes for San, Sama. Well, Sama is sometimes translated as Lord, but it doesn't like always work for a Lord or Lady. For Lady more so, for Lord not so much, but you know what I mean, right? Honorifics are hard to translate literally, and attempts like that don't really work for me. Just thought I'm gonna mention that. Decent CG. Another thing I thought I'm gonna mention. I actually was unsure whether it is CG or not, to be perfectly honest with you. It is CG, it absolutely is. But yeah, it actually looks, dare I say, good. Yeah. One thing that I think they could have done without is this like scaly pattern. This is basically the biggest pointer that it's CG. That and things being angular in general. Right? Like CG models are made of straight lines in general, right? It's a lattice of points. Points are connected with lines. Lines are connected into faces. And so, while you can draw, like by hand, you can draw something round, when it comes to a CG model, that circle is made of multiple straight lines. The more straight lines, the more round it looks, sure. In this case, they didn't use particularly many straight lines, because you can see that the belt on this lizard's chest is very angular, and when you look closely at the bandages, they are kind of angular as well. But it's only seen for, and you can see the same. You can see the same at the shields. So those are kind of dead giveaways of it all being CG. But overall, actually good, actually decent CG. Gotta say. If I hope future seasons of Overlord have at least this good of a CG. If you want to have a laugh, watch the Goblin Army scene from Overlord. Even if you haven't seen Overlord, it's not gonna be like that much of a spoiler to see that Goblin Army march. Watch Overlord. I mean, in general, it's a good series, and get to the, Goblin Army March the natural way. But if you'd rather know, then just watch the Goblin Army March, because it's fascinating in just how fucking atrocious it is. King Doran, and easily defeated. And Sensei caught in the midst, of course. Yeah, I thought I've seen some different character, but no, that was just Nier. Yeah, the battle is done. Everything went well, thankfully. But of course, the enemy is just not gonna lay on their laurels. They're also gonna try new, different things, aren't they? Femelos, of course. There probably isn't gonna be that much to talk about in this episode, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's mostly just the beginning of the next arc, right? We'll handle the 7 fallen angels. Yeah, you're getting kind of cocky, and overconfidence is a how does it go? Remember that overconfidence is a something and insidious killer. Yeah. Alleged savior. Yeah, kinda cocksure, isn't he? Believing that they're not gonna have any issue winning the war, believing that they're not gonna need Sensei's help, right? That is not a good characteristic for a leader of the people. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even if you believe that you're not gonna need Sensei's help, enlist his help. Even if you believe that you can win the war with just half of your men, use all of your men, right? It's better to overkill than to completely undershoot the target and lose. So, Wolf, not the best leader, is he? I mean, leader as in someone who leads people, sure, maybe. Leader as in a tactician, not so much. This. What is it about this particular scene that reminds me so much of those, like, old Disney movies? Not just Disney. What was that one? Secret of Nier? Something like that? The one with, like, rats. Or was it Nim? Yeah, The Secret of Nim. Right? It really has the vibe of, like, animated movies from that era. Yeah, 1982. Right? Like an 80s animated movie. I like it. I really just, in general, enjoy this look. And this just immediately evokes the 80s animated movies. The, like, very exaggerated spires and the very, like, purposeful lighting that lights just the central piece of it, that slight blurriness to everything, that, like, painterly quality to it. It's just a cool scene. It's just a really cool scene. Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot it. Griffith. That's a bit of a word to pronounce, isn't it? This guy is back. Thinking of changing our attack and having the women handle this. Who's the butler boy, I wonder? Because he's acting an awful lot like their leader. I wonder if he actually is. The red string of fate is glowing. Send someone who knows the Wizard of Storms. And the fallen angel of greed apparently does. That's... yeah, those are just... no, those are not normal horses. They're like camel horse things with their, like, humps rotated 90 degrees. Interesting animals. One-sided love is the greatest kind of love. If you want to be miserable, absolutely. I can attest to that. One-sided love is the worst fucking kind of love. Scratch that. One-sided love is bad and tragic. Being the third wheel in a romantic triangle. That's the worst possible bit. That's the worst possible part. Because not only is your love one-sided, you also see the object of your affection have their affection for someone else entirely. And, right, that's bad. Again, I can attest to that. Unfortunately. Youth. You should enjoy your anguish, of course. Looking at this string, I thought it's also gonna glow. Like maybe an indication that they're getting closer or something like that. But I think he's just looking at it as a reminder of, you know, his own love, right? Like, I'm talking about love to Melos here, and I kinda briefly forgot my own love, and you know what? Yeah, let's look for her together. I feel you, bro. Cool. We're foolish men wandering this world in search of a woman. Yeah, sure, you could say that. The Melos. He has plenty of admirers. Okay, so we have not traveled the entire afternoon. It's just the streets were brightly lit and I kind of took it as that, orangish light of an evening. And here the streets are not lit, so it's completely dark blue. She won't see me again today. The worst I'm going, but I promise I'll come back alive. When I do, this time I'll speak my true feelings, probably. Right, time for the theory, before I forget that. The old lady used to be young, but her youth was stolen. The old lady who Wolf visits used to be young, but angel of greed stole her youth. I can easily see a situation, especially with the angel of greed, saying that this whatchamacallit, later on, much later on, there we go. The place of my youth, memorable place for us both, the place of my youth, really kind of makes me think that she was maybe older, actually. She fell in love with Wolf, meanwhile Wolf was in love with another young lady, with a young lady, so she decided to steal that youth, to herself become young, hoping that maybe that will make Wolf return his affection. But instead, what it did is it prompted him to exile her, or just throw her out, or just prompted the rift between them to grow, right? Something like that. I can easily see that happening. And Wolf came to start drinking because his student turned to the bad side, and the love of his life just got robbed of her youth, and everything's going to shit. So he found solace at the bottom of a bottle. Probably, actually. Stole her youth. Angel of greed was jealous, wanted Wolf's love. Yeah, maybe. And and she stole it, and that prompted Wolf to drink. The two above caused Wolf to drink. Yeah. Enemy forces are attacking. Yeah, we're not gonna have any problems. We never had any problems before. Duplicated models. Hell yeah, duplicated models. Plenty of them, actually. Some recolored, though, to their credit. But you can see this guy and this guy, for example, are identical. Yeah, maybe the bottom one is slightly darker. Cool, okay. Erase secure reinforce, yeah, and now a dragon. Initially I thought it might have been the demon lord in his draconic form or something like that, but apparently just a servant of the dragon god. Jade, the dark dragon. Which part of him is Jade exactly? Because I don't see an ounce of green. Taken down dozens of dragons before, but here is the Angel of Greed. I thought that she will simply be able to just absorb this magic, right? As an as the moniker greed would make her, right? She's greedy, she steals, she takes, she's gonna take the magic. But something much simpler happened, actually. Wolf being unable to attack his student. Much simpler than that, right? Feel weak? Yeah, sucks out her life force, probably. Did not make Isha age, although elves don't really age as fast. So it could very well have actually aged her by a couple of years, maybe even by a decade or so, but it doesn't show because elves are long-lived or perhaps even immortal. We don't really know how it looks in this world, though was it the Pope or one of the people at the church is an old elf, though, so they can age, right? I have business with him first. I wonder if it's gonna be the first time that we actually deal with an evil otherworlder by perhaps, I don't want to say talking her out of it, but rather with like less brute force question mark, maybe, I don't know. Like, this is the first time that another worlder actually wants something from one of our characters, right? And wants to talk to them about something, right? Instead of just attacking them at sight. Relying on that well caught up to us. Yeah, basically. I really thought that what Sensei is suggesting here is that Melos uses her vulnerability right now, becomes her shoulder to cry on, and squeezes his way into her life that way, which is a very sleazy thing to do. So I'm glad that instead they made the decision, Melos made the decision to go look for Wolf. When he finds Wolf, Melos will no longer be sad, and Sensei approves. Good. That's good. That's how we go about it. His beloved knows something. Yeah, his beloved is not an Ojo-chan or even Ojo-sama. The Written Temple, memorable place for us both, the place of my youth. Right. She could be wearing the school uniform because that's what she was brought into this world in. Or she could be wearing it to signify her youth, right? She came here old, she stole someone's youth, and now she's wearing a high school uniform to emphasize that youth. Could be either, I guess. Because of you, Master, my abilities have finally blossomed. Yeah, you don't fucked it up. He was more passionate than anyone about training other worlders, and that turns out to have a bad effect in the end. Suddenly stopped one day and began drowning himself in drink. He taught the greed, Yuriko is her name, I see it on the list of characters. He taught Yuriko too much, she became too powerful, she stole the youth of his beloved, and he decided that it's actually dangerous for the other worlders to be taught too much, to be, to grow too strong, so let's stop doing that. And besides that, he started drinking his sorrows. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, no soldiers to spare. Yeah, just carrying a random old woman. Nice new gear. Cool. I wonder if we're gonna keep it. Probably not. It's a little bit too gaudy, if you ask me, to keep. Like, Nier's gear actually looks good. Nier could keep it. Absolutely. But like Tama's gear, way too gaudy. Like this shade of turquoise really doesn't agree with this like pale lilac skirt thing and with the yellow bits and with the dark blue rest. Way too many colors, way too clashing. Annette, yellow really doesn't fit blue. As a tiny accent, like those clasps on her hip, sure. As a breastplate and a good bit of her hat, no, a little bit too much and a little bit too technicolor. Yeah, Nier's gear actually looks good though. It actually does. Nice subdued colors, bits of just plain metallic looking metal instead of just some fancy orichalcum or gold or whatever. That little red accent that plays together with his hair and his eyes. The rest very like dark blue. His gloves match his loincloth and the rest of his like leather bits. Cool. Actually good gear, actually good design. Tama and Annette, I hope they drop this. Tama really looks better in black. Actually, you could keep the teal accents and just make the rest more subdued black and the color of her like ear tufts. Yeah, that would maybe work to like play with her overall color scheme. But Annette in particular looks just like, someone looked at her eyes, blue, her hair, yellow. Let's make her wear blue and yellow. Yeah. Some white would have done good here. Okay, regardless, I'm not fashionista. Let's continue. The nation of craftsmen never fails to impress. Well, it did fail to impress in this particular case. Yeah, I wonder what was it that Sensei ordered? Self-driving coffin, perhaps? Maybe. It would actually be high time to get that coffin on the wheels. Sensei ordered a wheeled coffin from the dwarves. I was talking about, like, even early in this episode and at the end of the previous episode, I was talking about how the orphanage is kind of fucked, right? Not so much right now. Yeah, I run a bus company by day and guard the orphanage by night. Very good way to actually solve that whole entire conundrum, right? His life was saved by Nier, and now he's repaying the favor. He turned the tide. He has the ability, apparently, to turn monsters into vehicles. He used to turn scorpions into bikes. Now he turns cats into buses. Sure. Yeah, cool. I like it. I like how they dealt with that. Perhaps a little whimsical, perhaps a little, light-hearted, maybe too light-hearted, some could say, but no, it's perfectly fine by me, honestly. Good. And Sensei's not invited, of course. Take me with you to Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf, really... that she says Mr. Wolf, and that Sensei looks at her eyes that look fairly youthful. Maybe that's the goal. Maybe that's what it's showing us, right? Like, they're not yellowed. There are no like blood vessels visible. They're not grayed out or anything, right? Very young eyes. She refers to him as Mr. and Osamu refers to her still as Ojo-chan. So really lends credence to my belief that she actually used to be young, but her youth was stolen by the Angel of Greed. Yeah, I think that's a sound theory. We'll see though. We'll see all about that in the future episodes. This episode, I mean, it was fine. It was a perfectly fine beginning of an arc. Really works in that way. Also gave us a nice bit of closure for the previous arc, which is also much appreciated, for sure. Set up Wolf as as like an actual character, not just someone in the background. Gave us a potential explanation for his alcoholism, which is also very much appreciated. Yeah, good episode in general. I enjoyed it, although you can clearly see that it's just the beginning of an arc. Because there really isn't all that much more to talk about besides speculating on the relationship between Wolf, Yuriko, and the old lady, which really makes me believe there is some things going on there. I just wonder what they are exactly, but no doubt we're gonna learn about that in the future, right? Right now, though, I really think that's just gonna be it. I don't have anything more to say, I don't think. So I'm not gonna be taking any more of your time. I'm just gonna say that's it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories. If so, say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord here in the description if you'd like. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Isekai Shikkaku, but also Bye Bye Earth, Vistoria, Spice and Wolf, QA Isekai, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do sometimes support the channel. If you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. On YouTube you can use super chats, super thanks, super memberships as well, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money, you don't have to share my content, spread the word, costs nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB Without an Edza, Rene, Sam Greenwood, UKLA, Dr. Watt, Akomasa, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to turn into a boss.